So hello, welcome to Central Montessori School Roundtable. We're very, very privileged to have some alumni and parents with us who are going to be led through a series of questions. Ms. Grisdale's here joined us, and obviously Ms. Nida Mohajer as well, administrators and teachers from one of our other campuses. I'm the principal here at the Maplehurst campus. So welcome. I don't want to do too much talking because really Ms. Grisdale has a lovely introduction, and then she'll guide our panelists to answer some questions. And hopefully parents who have joined us, you're more than welcome to ask us any questions that you'd like to know. Obviously this is all very, very strange because we would have preferred to see your lovely faces and shown you around our lovely campuses and schools, but we're doing all of this virtually. As you can tell, I've taken off my mask because I'm on my own here in my office, so at least you can see what our faces look like, because we're usually all covered up with our PPE equipment. So hello and welcome, and over to you, Mrs. Grisdale.
If you wouldn't mind, thank you very much, Ms. Dunaway. If you wouldn't mind enabling the sharing screen.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you're asking the impossible here. I did practice this.
And I'm just gonna continue working because I know you two ladies have this under wraps. I just mostly wanted to come and see the students and say hi to our parents. So I am in the background though. If you need any, if you need anything, if you have any questions, just call me back in. I'll just.
Lovely. And thank you and welcome to two parents who've just joined us now. Ms. Grisdale is about to make her presentation, our principal of one of our schools, the York Mills. And please feel free to ask us any questions or put anything in the chat and we will address them. So over to you, Ms. Grisdale. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I will introduce the panel and shortly. I just wanted to say a few words about our school. We are a Central Montessori school. We have 4 campuses. We have the York Mills campus, which is the largest. It's the picture up on the top left. We have the Maplehurst campus, which is so I should tell you a little bit at York Mills. York Mills goes from the infant age all the way through to grade 6. Central Montessori School at the Maplehurst goes from the CASA level to the grade 6. Then we have the Willowdale campus, and it goes from the toddler age to grade 3. And then we also have the Thornhill campus on the bottom right, which goes from the toddler to grade 3. CMS was founded by Mrs. Manu Mohajer, our current head of school, with Neda Mohajer, her daughter, and it was founded 25 years ago. We have been doing a fantastic job of educating children for 25 years, and we're very, very proud of that. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the school, and a little bit about Montessori. So first of all, who was Dr. Montessori? She was the first female physician in Italy. She was a scientist and she was an observer. And I think that is the key to her whole start up of the Montessori method that we know today. She was able to go in and observe children and see what their needs are and develop a program based on what she saw and working with those children. She developed most of the CASA material on her own. And it was with her son, Mario, that she developed the elementary program. Well, why Montessori? What is so special about Montessori? There are some key points to why a Montessori education surpasses all other types of education and why it has lasted so long and really has just worldwide just flown through different countries and become part of, in some cases, the public school systems as well as a private school setting. And it is world known because of its advancement of education. We develop the critical thinking skills for children as they become adults. Those executive functioning skills that are working memory, self-regulation, ability to plan and execute that plan, their focus, the attention, the ability to multiple task, to be able to be a flexible thinker are all part of those executive functioning skills that are key to success in today's day and age. We recognize the importance of that independence, Lessons are given in large group, small group, or individually. We cater to the child's own individual pace. If the child needs a little bit more support in one area, they're going to get that support. Maybe they're advanced in another area, they're going to get that advancement. We will take a look at what the child is capable of and make sure they get it. We will not hold the child back based on the norms or averages of the classroom. It offers a wide variety of academic subjects at an early age, and the community is dedicated to creating a peaceful world. The social aspect of the classroom becomes such a crucial part of the child's educational development. And that socialization and the social skills that they gain at the Montessori levels are going to keep them throughout life. And it really shows in those later years, as we'll hear from some of our panelists later. So how does it differ? With a traditional setting, the subjects are independent from one another. In Montessori, the subjects are interconnected. We call it a spiral system, where we keep revisiting the areas and we keep bringing them together and interlock them, if you will, and they show up in different areas. The children follow at the same pace in traditional setting. The teacher gives a lesson to the group, the whole class. In Montessori, we're setting it at the individual's pace. We're accommodating to the very different many levels that we have in a classroom and to their abilities. In a traditional setting, most of it is abstract work, paperwork, textbook based. And in Montessori, it's concrete, multisensory materials that the children are learning from. In the traditional setting, they cover the same work at the same time, all across the board. They know what they're doing. Well, in Montessori, there's a freedom of choice for the child. They might revisit something that they were doing a couple months back. They might do a project on an area of interest. Maybe they were doing that earlier. Maybe they're doing a science experiment. Maybe they remember something they did from before. They're going to be able to do it again. There is that freedom of choice. Montessori found that there were 4 different planes of development. And this first plane of development was divided into 2 subphases, which is the toddler, which is 0 to 3, the CASA 3 to 6, and the second plane of development is what we deal with at the elementary level of the ages of 6 to 12. Maria Montessori really felt that there was something called the absorbent mind of that young child. It's where there was intense mental activity going on. We see that from the moment the child is born. They're going to take in their environment, they're going to take in voices, language, what's going on around them. And from 0 to 3, there is that unconscious learning where they learn to walk, talk, develop the language, they learn to move, they learn to grab things, they learn how things work together, they put things together. That is that unconscious learning. At 3 to 6, they become a conscious learner. They are aware of what they are doing. There's a purpose to it. They might be guided for that purpose. It's not an inner setting. It is something that the environment can help with, and they are aware of it. The intellect is based on all the information that the child has absorbed to now. The child gains freedom to move purposefully, to concentrate, and to choose their own direction. So this just gives you an idea of what the CASA program looks like. This is a larger classroom, and you can just see that they're working at different tables, they're working together. Now this is pre-COVID. As you can see from the pictures, they don't have their masks. Some of the pictures later on will have their masks on because they were more recent pictures. But you can see how the teacher, might just be guiding children. The children are working independently at tables. They're working on materials, and they're engaged in what they're doing. That's Montessori. So what are the goals of Montessori? Independence, confidence, motivation, self-direction, creative problem solving, focus and concentration. And we are known for our academic level being high. We are usually following a much higher academic standard than the average, and the children leaving us end up doing extremely well because they are at a high level of academics, as well as that method of teaching them to learn to work independently and be self-motivated drives them when they leave us as well. And it's very shown. There are different areas of the classroom: practical life, sensorial, all the different sensory materials, length, width, colors, language, math, culture is divided into science, geography, zoology, botany, and we certainly have had STEM for a long time. This is an elementary classroom. You can see they're working with materials to learn things. They're working with triangles and parts of a triangle on the right side. They're doing grammar work in the middle of it. There's a timeline on the left side. There's group work. This is how our classroom is looking right now. We're separated up. The classroom usually doesn't look like this. They're usually grouped together in working groups, but now they're separated with a distance. And we do outgoing community help, helping in the community and go outside, and we have a great athletic program. We work on having them work together. They are a unit. They learn to work well together. They become very close to one another, and that helps with their confidence and who they are, and also their awareness of the differences between one another. That's what we're all about. Guiding that child and making them feel confident in who they are and what they're capable of doing. So I will just end that right now, if you don't mind. And I will go back to stopping share. And I will introduce our panel to you. We have Colleen, who had a son with us, and she'll talk to you a little bit about her son in a moment. He's now in second year university. We have Masa with us. She has had 2 children with us, and she has one child who graduated from us last year and now is in grade 7, and one child still with us in the school in grade 5. We have Diana. She has 2 children that were with us before, and one is in grade 12, and the other one is now in grade 9. Is that right, Diana? Wow. And we have Dia. Dia, do you want to put your video on? Thank you. And Dia is one of our alumni students, and I'll have her talk to you a little bit about herself when we get to her as well. I'd like to thank the panelists very much for coming today. We really will value what you have to say, and we have some set questions for you to begin, and then at the end, those that have joined us are welcome to go through the chat box and ask any questions, and Ms. Donaway will be keeping track of those questions and be able to give them out at the end, but maybe some of your questions will be answered as we go along. So I'm going to start with Dia, if you don't mind, Dia. You might have to unmute yourself there. Yes. I'm just going to ask you, what do you appreciate most about CMS during your time at CMS?
Okay, well, there's so many things that I appreciate about CMS, and like after graduating and looking back at it, you get to kind of appreciate them more and stuff like that. So I think I'm just going to talk about the one main thing is just like the amount of attention that you get from teachers is insane. Like, people all move at their own pace. I think Montessori recognizes that very well with learning. Everyone moves at their own pace. Everybody learns in different ways, and the Montessori system is just like 10 out of 10 with addressing that and like being able to, like, I remember when I was always relatively good at math, and I had, you know, classmates that weren't so good at math, and I could move ahead and they could, you know, stay back a little bit and learn it a little bit better. And that gives them an amazing foundation so that, you know, after that lesson, they can excel with the next lesson. And I think comparing to other schools, like, there's not that type of attention, and there's not that type of community, and like being able to talk one-on-one with teachers and like express your difficulties and stuff like that, it can get very frustrating. And like sometimes I would see friends that, you know, would be crying, especially with math, because they just can't get it. And like being able to talk to teachers one-on-one and really having such an intimate connection just like really helps the learning process, in my opinion. Just like having such a close connection with my teachers. I remember like visiting their classroom, even though it's just down the hall, would be such a big deal for me. Like I had this one teacher named Miss Helen, and I had her from grade 1 up to grade, I think,
3.
3. Okay.
3.
Yeah, grade 3. And like just my connection with her was really, really deep. And I still remember her to this day. Like her face is like, I could draw a picture of her. Like it
And
was
she's still with us, she's still with us, Tia.
really, that's amazing. But I think she was, obviously all of my teachers had an impact on me, but I think she really helped develop a foundation for my learning. And like, not very many schools are able to provide that to children. And that's something that like, not just saying this, if I can, I would like to send my kids to Montessori because it's so worth it. Like I couldn't like have asked for a better foundation. I think it's just perfect to create a foundation for children that are just starting in like the learning environment.
Thank you so much, Dia. Dia, you're at Western right now, right? In your first year?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Colleen, would you like to answer that question on behalf of Evan and just explain Evan a little bit where he is and whatnot right now, if you wouldn't mind?
Sure. I took some notes actually. So Evan was at CMS. We started him with the CASA program when he was about 3.5 at the York Mills campus. And he continued there up until grade 6. He had great teachers that really cared about him, and that's the best memory that I have about CMS. Just the caring environment, how much the teachers really care about the kids. It instilled a love of learning for him from a very early age that he has used when he transitioned to public school and high school afterwards. So the love of learning provided a really solid foundation for him. CMS has really high academic standards where they prepare children to reach their full potential. And this has really played out with my son. He's learned to love math from a very early age. He excelled at math at CMS. And then he continued to excel at math when he transitioned to public school, and then high school. He was getting mid-90s in math just about all the way through. And this allowed him to get into a really difficult program at U of T, the double degree program in business management and finance, which is a BBA, combined with quantitative finance, which is a BSc. Dealing more with statistics on that side. So the program was really difficult to get into. It required a really high average in the mid-90s to get into that program at U of T. And now he's doing very well. He's in his 2nd year. He doesn't sleep very much during the week. It's still really difficult for him. It's really challenging every day. So yeah, we couldn't be more proud of CMS and what it did for our son, and it's continuing to do. It's given him a great foundation to really bring out the best of his skills and interests. He realized from a young age that he was really interested in math and was able to excel at a really high level from an early age up until now.
Thank you so much, Colleen. Diana, do you want to explain about your 2 children that have been here and answer the question, what did they appreciate most, or what do you appreciate most looking back and seeing what CMS?
Sure. One of the key things I think it was—
Diana, we can't hear you very well. Is there any way of turning up your volume, please?
Yeah.
Thank
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
A little better.
Let's see. How's that?
A little better.
Yeah. Let me just see if I can increase the volume here.
Do you want, I can go on to Massa and come back. Would you be able to work on your volume if you wouldn't mind?
Yep, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you so much, Diana. Massa, do you want to explain your 2 children at the school, and then taking a look at your perspective and saying what do you feel that the children appreciate most at the school, and what do you appreciate most at the school?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I've got two that have gone through the system since age one, I guess, since the baby room. My son Zavi just graduated this year from grade 6 and went to grade 7 in a local public school. And my daughter Sophie also started 12 months in the baby room, and she's now in grade 5, still at CMS. So we're really a CMS family in that I think our roots are deep there forever, because the kids just, that's all they've known. And they really, really just have had such a positive experience. It's really tough. I was looking at the questions, Mrs. Grisdale, you sent, and the one bad thing would be that it doesn't continue. So really, that's all I could think of. But I cheated and I asked the kids, you know, what they would say with regards to the question from their perspective. And Sophie, who's there now, said, you know, everything the teachers do, Mummy, is fun. Even when it's hard, it's fun. And I think fun for a kid translates to creative and innovative for us. So, you know, it's the way the teaching is done, that the teachers incorporate that into any topic, whatever it may be, whatever they're trying to teach. They find a creative way to express it and to show it and to teach it. So for the kids, that comes across as fun. And if kids say school is fun, that's about as good as it gets. So that's from Sophie. And for Zavi, his response was that, you know, Mummy, at CMS, they really focus on you. They really focus on the individual. And I think similar a little bit to what Dia said, what you can be much further ahead than somebody, or you could be further back, but it doesn't matter. You know, the focus is on you. So that's straight from their mouths, coming in terms of what they appreciate and what they like and what they think is different about CMS.
Thank you very much. Diana, we'll try again and see how it goes.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you if we try harder. I think it's just a matter of listening really well.
Okay. I think it's because I was on dual screens at work, so it's a little bit weird. Okay. So yes, so Julia and Philip went to CMS. They both started in CASA. I think Philip started pre-CASA at about 2.5, and Julia started at 3, and they were there up until grade 6. So I think the key thing I would say, I'll start with Philip. I think for him, it was just a very nurturing environment, and so we chose it for that. Definitely one-on-one. He definitely is somebody that had a lot of energy, and I think just the teachers working with him is just amazing. So that's been a foundation. The academics, I would say, was great, and really opportunity for, you know, I think Dia mentioned it, for somebody who was either above or a little bit maybe behind. Everybody had a chance to really showcase their own abilities, and it was actually assisted in that regard. So I think that was fantastic, and that foundation was very good and has suited him well. And then I will say that, you know, I don't think anyone's touched on this, but the sports is really awesome too. And so I think the kids had an opportunity to learn every single sport there was, and that is a great foundation moving forward. They were able to feel confident to get on a sports team in either middle school or in high school. So, you know, really, really great foundation. And for Philip, who finished grade 6 there, he seamlessly went into, he's in a boys' school, he's at Crescent, and he had no issues whatsoever, sort of seamlessly moving from CMS to Crescent. I think it was just a seamless entry for him. And so all the foundations were just really positive. You know, for Julia, I would say the same. I mean, she's had a little bit of a different trajectory. She went from CMS, she had, you know, the one-on-one, the academics were great, and had the ability to learn the sports, a really good opportunity, smaller class sizes, to really be able to socialize and meet really great friends at CMS. And also the interaction with teachers have been, you know, amazing for her. So she had a pretty seamless, trajectory as well. She moved into, middle school, and then she's in her grade 12 in high school. And hers was pretty seamless too. So the key things, the takeaways are, smaller class sizes, ability to learn from your peers, because you do have older and younger children. So that's really positive. You have, nurturing teachers. I think everybody's on the same page of all the different kids that are going there. So everybody seems to be aspiring for the same thing. And then, you have the sports is fun, and the social. So I think there was a lot of great things that the kids would say, and those are keys.
Thank you very much. Dee, I'm going to start with you.
Thank you, Ms. Grisdale, for getting the voice there. One of our
I didn't
parents
do it. I think Diana did it herself.
Oh, wicked. Thank you, because we could hear you so much better. Can I just jump in there? One of our parents wanted to know about extracurricular activities and martial arts. And I have answered that it's very much due to COVID, we're very limited in what we could do. But could you just answer that quick question for us? Speaking of sports, does CMS offer things like martial arts, even in extracurricular?
Dia actually was very involved with the sports at the time. Dia, do you want to say anything about the sports? Were you involved with the SSAF when we were?
Yeah. I don't know how big the classroom sizes are now compared to when me and Julia actually were pretty much in the same class throughout. I remember we would both have gym class together, and then we both get into the same car, go to the same swimming practices. Like, that environment was amazing. I'm just reminiscing. Anyways, yeah, I don't know how big classroom sizes are now, but back then I just remember the entire class would collectively participate in sports, and like the sports teams, and we would all go to events, and like on the bus rides there, we would all just be cheering together and just having so much fun together. And we took the sports so seriously, but also it was all just fun and games. And like, I don't know how many coaches are there now, but back when I was there, it was Coach Joe, and he was just like the main guy. Like, everyone was like, Coach Joe, yeah. Like, he was so good at teaching us the sport and making it so fun. But I remember, like, something that I remember very clearly is that I had a very well-rounded like knowledge on the rules of the sport, and like what is okay and what is not okay. And he also taught us sportsmanship very well, like how to lose and how to win gracefully, which was, I think, is really important. Like, you watch the Lakers and you watch the NBA, and some of them are a little bit, when they lose or when they win, but like, he was able to teach us the rules, how to have fun and sportsmanship all in one. And the extracurriculars, like going around and like competing with other schools, is just such a great way to like such a great way to make it just a full rounded environment, like the academics and the sports. Like, I couldn't ask for anything better. Yeah, it was just so much fun.
Masa has been very involved as a parent on a lot of our events, because the parents can go to these different tournaments that we're involved in. We do have extracurricular at school, but the extracurricular is different than our competition that exists, because we do cross-country tournaments and cross-country runs, and the track and field, and that's involved school-wide, as well as having the teams to go play soccer and things like that. So there is the extracurricular as well as the team sport that is competitive. Masa, did you want to say anything about the sport program at all?
Sure. First of all, I don't know if the answer fully came through for martial arts specifically, but my kids did martial arts beginning from CASA onto elementary, where they stopped, but we've got 100 different color belts. So the answer is yes for martial arts, along with every other sport you can think of. No, for me, I think it was said as well, you get the opportunity to play in everything, that you might have fear of if it was a really huge school or a really huge program, but the level of the quality and the care and the encouragement from the sports, education and the coach there it's really, the values of the school even go into the sports program, if I can sum it up that way. So even the sports program is encouraging you to try and to push yourself and to, be confident, even if you're not a sporty person. And that really comes across. And I think the parent involvement, the parents want to be there. When we can't be there, it's actually awful because, parents are taking time off work to be there because it's so much fun and it's such a positive environment. So you're right to bring up the sports. I think the sports are really quite spectacular at CMS as well.
I actually just wanted to add there, Mrs. Grisdale, that we still have amazing Coach Joe, and he's still doing all the wonderful work. And unfortunately, to the parents who are listening in to us at the moment, because of COVID, we're not able to have as many interactions as possible. So let's all pray that it goes away very soon, so we can go back to having all this amazing, collegial time together, isn't it? For young people to make the comments that they have. So
but they still enjoy their gym. Boy, if ever Coach goes away, we know about it. They certainly enjoy their gym, and it is part of the program, just as the arts is part of the program, a large part of the program as well. We feel very strongly about the arts program.
So Masha, if I may jump in. So obviously not during COVID time, but during regular time, is the martial arts offered in the curriculum or as an extra-curricular?
As an extracurricular.
Okay. Well, so we did have a program that, so we used to do fundraising. So part of our fun fair, and I think there was another fundraising that we used to do and part of those funds would go towards having a program during the winter months when students miss some of those outdoor playtimes. So we used to bring in the martial arts program to cover some of those lunches that would be spent indoors. So we've gone between martial arts and yoga. And that we did as part of just the wellness program, right? So building those concentration, building focus, a little bit more physical. Yoga, martial arts, we found that it goes really well with the whole wellness program that we have. So this is something we did introduce actually for those winter months when they're missing their outdoor playtime. And then it was offered again for as an after school program. And with the yoga, it was actually for a few years, for the past 2-3 years, I think, has been also offered in the early morning so that, you can come early morning to do a yoga as part of the wellness program.
It's a great way to start the day for the children.
I had that.
Yeah. And as Master says, my kids are the same, have a whole bunch of different color belts for martial arts. So it's something that, yes, they never excelled so far into it, but they feel like they have a know-how, right? And it just plants those seeds of interest. So I feel like if they ever do want to continue it, it's something that, they're proud to say, yes, we, started martial arts since we were, 4 years old or 5 years old.
Could I say one last thing about the sports at CMS? I don't know if anyone saw my comment, but Coach Joe would encourage every single student, regardless of their gender, race, whatever, their physical ability, to participate in sport, in the competitive sport, outside of school. And I think that's such an important part of overall learning for kids, is experiencing that type of competitiveness, because you learn sportsmanship, you learn how to get up when you fail. In cross-country races, we'd be racing with so many kids, and I came last. I literally came last, but I'd cry and he'd be like, you finished it. That's what matters. He was able to teach us all individually just amazing lessons. But something I remember about him so well is that during recess time and after school hours, he would one-on-one teach kids. Basketball was his main sport, and he would one-on-one teach them how to enhance their learning on that sport and how to enhance their ability. Even though maybe recess and after school is supposed to be probably his time to chill, he didn't care. He would still come and play with us because, well, we were all obsessed with him, but he would let us love him, and he would teach us and allow us to really he taught me how to love basketball and how to play that sport. And I think girls in sports, he was a really good role model for that. I think there's a lot of sexism in that area. And he like I didn't even understand the concept of sexism in sports because he was so good at mitigating that. Like, if anything, he was always pushing us like females to like really go for it. He was like, so what if you're racing against a guy? Like, you can still do it. He was really good with that. And I think that's something that like not many, especially men, like are very smart with. So
Dia, I'm going to continue with you actually, if you don't mind. One of the questions was, Montessori believes in supporting children to be lifelong learners. Do you feel that that's part of who you are, is that you want to continue that learning? Do you have that, do you feel that you have that inner drive to learn more?
Yeah, I think that Montessori, yes, teaches you to be life learners, but also really teaches you like to chase what you love, kind of, and to yes, you might not be good at A and B, but what if you're amazing at C and really good at D, and you love E but you aren't there yet? They kind of tell you C, D, and E, focus on that and get better at what you love and follow what you love. And even if you might not, be the best, even if the person beside you is doing a little better than you, it doesn't matter. Like, you still need to push yourself and you still need to commit to what you love to do. And it, like, failure is part of life. And I think that really stuck with me. And like, now, double major, for example, like I'm still debating whether to do it or not, but just from the Zoom call, I'm already a little bit more pushed towards doing that. And like, just being a life learner in general, I think Montessori really supported that and really just pushed me to be like, yes.
One thing to maybe mention at this point in time, because we are multiple age groups, we would have had Julia, Dia, and Evan all in the classroom at the same time for 1 year, because they're 3 years apart. From like one is in 12th, Dia is in first year university, and Evan's in second. So that gives you an idea of the multi-ages there and how they know one another. I'm going to ask Colleen, if you don't mind, why did you choose the school originally? What had you pick CMS?
Let me see. Why did we choose? I wrote some notes here to keep me on track. We were living in North York at the time, and CMS was just being built when Evan was quite young. So he was one of the first students at the York Mills campus. We'd done some research into whether we should put him in daycare mixed with pre-kindergarten, because I had originally taken a few years off after I had him, and I was wondering like how to transition him into like daycare or school or a combination. We've done a lot of research and we found the CMS website, and we really liked what we were learning about the Montessori system. We knew nothing about Montessori before we put Evan at CMS. And as we did research, we really thought that would be the best choice for him. We also loved how we could drop him off in the morning, know that he would get snacks, he would get a hot lunch, he would have a nap, and we also paid for the extra hours at the end of the day so that we could work a full day and then pick him up after we got off work at 5, and just knowing that he would be fine the whole day. We didn't have to worry about transitioning him from a school to a daycare. And as we learned more about Montessori and how much he absolutely loved it at Montessori, even from a very young age, a lot of times we try to pick him up maybe at 5:30, and he would just want to stay and play with Coach Joe in the backfield, or he would just want to stay and play with his friends. It wasn't, we would think, oh, he's had a long day, he'll be tired. No, he mostly wanted to stay there. He enjoyed it so much. So, I mean, knowing that he was just thriving academically and meeting lots of friends and having such amazing teachers, that's what we initially had only thought, we'll put him there for a few years, transition him to public school. However, he did so well there that we didn't have the heart to take him out. We just kept him there until grade 6, as long as we could keep him there. So yeah, it was, we really didn't know much about Montessori in the beginning, but it just worked way beyond our expectations from every level. So yeah, we were very happy with CMS all the way through.
Diana, how did you pick CMS? Why did you choose a CMS?
I hope you guys can hear me.
Beautiful.
Okay, great. So our actually family members went to your school, but at a different campus. They spoke really highly about the school. At the same time, you know, we had Julia that was about to go into, she was 3 years old, and we were looking for a location for her. And due to the, you know, great advice from our family members and some research on the school and sort of understanding about the sort of the Montessori beliefs, we thought it would be a great match. But even moving forward with that, we were also looking for a location where I think Evan's mom just really nailed it, is that where we can drop off the children early in the morning, because we both work, and be able to know that they're, you know, taken care of, they're academically being stimulated, they are going to have a warm lunch, and then have a snack after, and be able to pick them up. I think for us it was 5:30, and that was really positive. And just knowing that it's all in one location was definitely something that was a factor for us to stay there up until grade 6. We just really wanted them to have that nurturing environment. And so, yeah, very positive in that regard. So those are sort of the key things. And it wasn't a difficult choice. I think that some parents may make a choice at grade 3 to take their children to another school. Like I guess it's a point where somebody might be considering, but for us, it was always the right choice. And to this day, it's just a real positive choice, I think. And looking back, I wouldn't change absolutely anything. So, you know, it's been great for both of the kids. And yeah, so Philip's grade 9 and Julia's in grade 12, and they've been able to academically do really, really great with the foundation. So they're still thriving.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask Masa maybe and say, one of the questions that was going to be asked was, what do you think the biggest impact did the school have on your child? Let's take a look at Zavi, your oldest one. Mm-hmm. What's the greatest impact that you felt that the school had on him?
Oh my gosh, so many. The greatest, pick one. Probably confidence. Confidence really in everything. I mean, you know, maybe too confident, even if he can't do something, he thinks he can, which everyone says is a great thing. But I would definitely, if I had to pick one, I would say confidence, because he really, you know, was encouraged and supported and really pushed to do more than he could, or to reach his potential. So, you know, he's now in a different school, and even there, you know, everybody's shy and sort of head down, and he walks in and he's like, "Hi, I'm Zavi," you know. So it's really, it's incredible. His foundation is so strong. And if I can cheat and put mentoring in there, it might come up. But, you know, the Montessori method of mentoring and being with younger kids, he's continuing to do that now when he doesn't need to. He's helping other kids in his class, even though he's the new guy. And he says, you know, I can help you here, I can show you. So now people in his class 4 weeks in are asking him for help. And he says there's a few people that he helps. And I said, you know, are you pushing yourself on them? Or he's like, no, mommy, they asked me. So, you know, the confidence and the mentoring and nurturing of younger people that he's learned at the Montessori, I think those will be with him forever.
Dia, what do you think the biggest impact was on you?
From just CMS in general?
Yeah, just from CMS, that you might have seen that it was an impact that may have threaded you through the high school years, maybe.
Oh, there's so many. I don't know what to, I guess. Okay, I won't repeat what Masa already said, but confidence and mentoring are actually two very big ones. But I think also just being a very good person. I think CMS, like learning, fun, sports, everything aside, I think the teachers and the diversity really like can help a child become just genuinely a better person. Like I'm not white, and I never really felt lost at CMS because I think that it was pretty, at least for its time, and now we're in 2020, but back then I never really felt that segregation that a lot of kids feel. And like I was exposed to other cultures. There was multicultural week or day, I forget what it was, but
National Week, yes.
Oh, that, yeah, such an amazing concept. Literally, wow. Like CMS is just so ahead of its time, and like that, like lots of kids are not raised in households that like appreciate other cultures, other like types of people. And I think CMS just says everyone is welcome, race, gender, sexuality, like it doesn't matter. And I think that was really instilled in me. I mean, I don't think I was ever gonna be like a bad person, but just being exposed to a various amount of backgrounds, like learning from a young age that the word gay is not a bad word, things like that. Just really great environment, because I know some public schools tend to shun things like that type of topic, like sexuality and stuff like that. And I think CMS, like the health classes and everything, had a really good way of approaching it. And just all the kids that go into CMS come out as like really well-rounded academically and sports-wise, but also are really able to just be very accepting of everyone around them. And I think if it weren't for CMS, I wouldn't be able to be a tutor today. Like I wouldn't be able to deal with kids asking me the same question 5 times. Like it also taught me patience. So there's that too.
Thank you. Colleen, what do you think the greatest impact on Evan was?
Just instilling the love of learning. I won't keep repeating myself, but instilling a love of learning from a very young age provided such a great foundation for him that he's carried throughout his later years. I just think that the CMS education really does prepare kids to reach their full potential on an individual level, which is something that the public school doesn't necessarily live up to. So he's definitely reaching his full potential right now. So yeah, and just like as Dia said as well, like not just the academics, but a well-rounded education, being a good person, learning good values, being respectful, so many other great things. And that has helped his confidence level immensely. He's actually involved with a few clubs right now at university as well. He's able to meet friends in his classes really easily. He never has lunches by himself. Like when he's on campus, he always, talks to someone in class and invites them for lunch, and they end up, he's met so many friends at a university that isn't really known for, being a friendly university, right? U of T is not known as a very friendly university. It has a strong focus on academics, right? So, but he's able to reach out and meet people, and which is really nice, right? So, just beyond just academics, and being a really good person and a friendly person that is able to empathize with other people. And if he has a problem in one of his classes that he's trying to figure out with some homework, he's able to text people in his class really easily. And having those social skills is really helpful to get him through a lot of his classes as well.
Thank you. I know
I just wanted to pause there, Ms. Grisdale, just to give you a heads up about the time if we wanted to ask any of the parents, because everything is so interesting.
Questions then.
Yeah, if any of our parents who've joined us would like to ask a specific question, I know I've answered a few on the chat, very specific ones, but is there anything that you would like to ask any of our panelists or Ms. Grisdale or myself? Goodness, everyone's shy, Miss Krista. Oh no, here we go.
I think I'm going to go to ask a question. So I think I'm really interested in like everyone's experiences. I appreciate your sharing the information. Since my child right now is only 5 months old, I wanted to prepare ahead of time. I wanted to understand a bit more of the application process for the CASA program, for example. So which I think it admits a child as early as 18 months.
Ms. Grisdale, would you like to ask that? Just the application process?
I think it would be a matter of taking a look at which campus are you closest to, and the fact that when you want your child to start the school, because there are only 2 campuses that have that young infant, and then 3 of them have, well, 2 of them have the toddler. Sorry, 3 of them have the toddler. So just taking a look at which campus you're closest to, and then contacting the administrator there, and they can talk very one-on-one with you over the phone, or have a Zoom meeting for you and go through the application process. So that's what I would recommend. Do you know which campus you are closest to?
So I think we're interested in the York Mill location. But I think we're just not sure.
Give you a call. We'll be happy to give you a call and follow up with those particular details.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we basically, we're not sure whether you guys have a witness or not, and also whether we should submit the full application or not. But I think it
so
will be
every campus is a little bit different for the wait list, because some of the campuses are larger than others. So that's where I'm saying that the campus, we can get hold of you. If you wouldn't mind putting your phone number down, if you're not comfortable with that, please contact me at the York Mills campus. You're welcome to do that at 416-510. Maybe you could put this in the chat line. 1200. My extension is 3, and I'd be happy to continue the conversation with you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Any other question that anyone has? One of the questions, I'll ask it just in case somebody else wants to ask one of those questions, because this is a particular area that always fascinated me, because for a long time I was an upper elementary teacher, and the question we would always get is, yes, but they've got to go because they've got to get used to a traditional system. Did you find it difficult at all, Dia, moving into your next school, leaving a Montessori system, going into a traditional system? Did you find it really difficult? How are the academics? How was your social?
I didn't go into the traditional public school system, so I can't really speak.
How about the traditional system? Is because you went into a private school?
Yeah, I went to
more of a traditional setting.
Okay, so I went to Branksome Hall, and there it was a little bit different, I guess. It was more so like,
How did you adapt?
Oh,
have difficulties with
it? It was pretty, like, as Miss Arbuntina said, it was pretty seamless, and I didn't have very many problems with the academics. I actually was kind of ahead. Like, I was fine.
Okay, thank you. And Evan, did Evan have any difficulties? I think you mentioned, Colleen, that Evan was fine going into the school system.
Yeah, we transitioned him to grade 7 public school in Whitby, and he was at a much higher level academically in all of his courses. So he was
that a problem? Was that a problem, or did he cope with it okay?
He was bored for the first few months. He was pretty bored, but then he met friends really easily, and they played together and played sports at recess, and he made friends very quickly, and he actually spent a lot of time in the classes just helping other kids and helping the teacher, because he just found math especially really easy. So I even talked to his teacher a few times to see if he could get some more challenging math questions just to keep him motivated, because he was getting kind of bored with some of the courses. So yeah, he found grade 6 and grade 7 and 8 fairly easy. And then when he transitioned to high school, it became a little bit more challenging for him. So that was more interesting for him, I think. Yeah.
Diana, how about your 2?
Yep. So Julia transitioned to a public school for grade 7 and 8. So I would say that she was ahead. definitely academically, but she's a very social person. So I think for her, grade 7, 8 allowed her to sort of set a foundation with her friends. Once she got into high school, it was it's almost like it was enhanced because she's in a private school and it's pretty academically challenging there as well. For Philip, I mean, he transitioned no problem. He's in a boys' school and their academics are pretty high and they're doing math 1 year ahead, or 2 years ahead. So he's fine. Where he's at with his math was not an issue whatsoever. So it was a good transition. And I think even from the academic, it was solid. I think even from the social, just the environment at CMS allowed them to kind of socially integrate and meet a lot of friends. And I think that's a positive as well. Yeah.
Masa, how are you finding Xavi? What's he saying? It's fairly new to him, but how's he getting his feet on the ground?
He's the same. I echo what's been said. Obviously, academically, he's ahead. But ironically, even in sports, he's ahead. So we talked about the sports program, and you'd think, you know, in sports, the pool would be much bigger and stronger in terms of traditional sports and the teams they have. But even in sports, all of Coach Joe's pushing has got him, you know, he's number one in his class in sports already. So in his gym in terms of laps. But I think it all goes back to the confidence. So if you've got the confidence, you can reach further and do more and feel fine about it. And he's doing that. So academically, it is easy in the public school system when he transitioned, but he's not having any difficulty in terms of finding friends or, you know, making connections. And that's sort of the foundation that he had at CMS.
Yeah. I'm just very conscious of the time, Mrs. Grisdale, so I'm not sure.
So are there any more questions from any of the chats that you'd like to bring forward?
No, I think I've answered them one-on-one. I wanted to thank you profusely for guiding us through, and our lovely parents who've given up their time, and our wonderful alumni. I know I'm new to the CMS family, but it's been absolutely lovely to hear about all of your experiences. I shall be coming to ask you more questions for our website as we update it. But I know that this is a wonderful family because my 2 young sons are different people 6 weeks into being at CMS. So thank you very much, parents who joined us today.
If you don't mind, I'd like to thank the parents too. When I contacted them, they were very eager, and you know, you've been a long way away in some cases from us, but I really appreciate that you've taken the time out today to come back to CMS. And we always think very fondly of all of your children. And Dia, you've got a home here whenever you need it. And we'll see your kids in 10 years. Okay, not before then, okay? So everyone, thank you again too. Thank you very much, Ms. Dunaway, for managing at the top end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, parents.
Thank you very much, everyone. And if any of the parents have any questions, please just contact any of the campuses and we'll redirect you to the right person to speak directly to that campus. So thank you very much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. I just want to, with the alumni too, please, we have a few alumni coming back to teach summer camp. One is teaching debating club for after school. So please, you know, encourage your children to come back and be part of CMS. We're so proud to have them, you know, continue being part of the CMS family.
Good idea. That's fun.
Yeah. Now that we're all here and the others are not here. So just again, thank you so much, everyone, for coming and for taking time. Your children always have a soft spot in all of our hearts. Every child that comes through here, we always remember them. And it's so nice to see them when they come back in the hallways. And when I invite everyone back for the alumni panel, I don't know if we'll have that this year or how we'll have it, but I really do appreciate your continued efforts and dedication to the school. So thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. Have a lovely afternoon, everyone.
Everyone.
Take care. Thank you very much.